We have seen 3 types of different cabin crew positions being released on the Qatar Airways website under the career part. One is no longer active and it is related to the Amiri cabin crew, for which I have also filmed a video. And the other 2 which are remaining and they're still active, one is related to the Qatar Executive and the other one is a position for cabin attendant. In brackets it's written private fleet / Qatar Executive. All these 3 positions are very different. They're all containing the word cabin crew, yet they are different in terms of what are the customers that this cabin crew are serving, what are the departments, are they different companies, are they along with Qatar Airways, and do they wear the same uniform? These were type of questions which I was coming across on my social media platforms, on my Instagram account where I'm very active, excrewnextcrew. You can send me all your questions and all your messages there and I'm always answering. And in this video we're going to talk about these 3 different cabin crew positions, yet there are also some things that are uniting them, and I'm going to come to the end. Therefore you might want to also click the subscribe button for all the content that is being released over here on excrewnextcrew by Julia George YouTube channel, which I'd love to call it a social media learning platform for cabin crew. I also write blogs on my website, excrewnextcrew, and as I have mentioned, my Instagram account, where you are more than welcome to send me all your questions, needs for clarifications, and I will always have a look and I will always answer to them. And for those of you that are first time on my YouTube channel, a very warm welcome on board. And my name is Julia George. I used to fly for Qatar Airways for 10 years, where I have resigned from my last work position as a cabin service director. I'm currently studying Aviation Management Master Program at Wildau Institute of Applied Science in Berlin. And in the meantime, in order to develop and straighten my current skills, I'm also working as a SnoreLab Assistant at Helios Kliniken Schwerin. And perhaps the last duty in which I enjoy the most, beside being a mother and a wife, of course, is being your online completely free of charge coach, which means I'm creating and I am a content creator of my social media platforms in which I'm elaborating the topic of cabin crew, bringing to you knowledge from the aviation industry that later on will help you to go through the selection process, will help you to become a knowledgeable candidate when it comes to aviation. And therefore, as such, my sincere aim over here is that the recruitment team will be easily recognize the candidates who have previously learned something about the aviation industry, and that has been you watching this video and being on my social media platform. And finally, let's start and see what are the difference between Qatar Amiri, between Qatar Executive, and between cabin attendant, private fleet / Qatar Executive. For many of you that are watching this video, perhaps the Qatar Amiri cabin crew, when the vacancy was announced, you have actually seen the video on my YouTube channel related to the Qatar Amiri cabin crew. It looks like this, and if you have not watched it, I will leave a link in the description box below this video, as I elaborated about the company, about Qatar Amiri. But nevertheless, in this video I will also share with you all the things that are pretty much accessible on the internet, so you will know that this position is not a Qatar Airways cabin crew commercial flight attendant. So for the candidates that have applied for the Qatar Amiri, pretty much these are the informations that are accessible in the internet and that I have talked about. They're not cabin crew for Qatar Airways commercial cabin crew group. Rather than that, they have applied to be a cabin crew for the royal family of Qatar. So over here, a clear distinction in terms of passengers and in terms of uniform. When I say distinction between the passenger, it means that, as I spoke in my previous video, the passenger for Qatar Amiri cabin crew is the royal family, and the passenger for Qatar Airways commercial cabin crew, the passengers are us, me, you, all the people from all over the world booking their flights and basically going places together, as their tagline says. So being part of Qatar Amiri flight, you will be part of an airline which is actually owned by the government of Qatar, and this is the same thing as Qatar Airways. It operates worldwide charters on demand, and it is an exclusively for the royal family of Qatar, but also there are some other VIP government stuff which I also elaborated in my video. I strongly suggest that you have a look on that video, because over there I also mentioned the fleet that this airline has, and that this is totally different from Qatar Airways. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important that you know that the requirements to be part of Qatar Amiri are totally different than the requirements of being Qatar Airways commercial cabin crew in terms of experience. And I've also in a previous video shared with you that Qatar Amiri is an airline that only hires captains. They don't hire first officers, and we all know that first officers are also pilots. However, in terms of experience, they are having less experience in most cases as the captains. Therefore, when it comes to the requirements for cabin crew, they are only hiring experienced cabin crew. And as mentioned, their uniform is totally different than the uniform of Qatar Airways commercial cabin crew. I have seen the Amiri cabin crew on a layover. We have shared the same hotel, and their uniform is dark blue. Unfortunately, I could not find the picture on social media, as their social media policy is absolutely very, very strict. Over there are no promotional flights like Qatar Airways has, so the crew will be taking pictures everywhere, you know, and publish them through the media department, etc., etc. But a very private and a very exclusive, if I may say, airline. And their number of cabin crew also is around 100, if I'm not mistaken, unlike the number of cabin crew when I left Qatar Airways was going close to 13,000. There are different numbers now due to COVID crisis. However, we are all very positive that once aviation bounces back, they're going to overcome the number of 13,000 cabin crew, thanks to the planning and development, good planning and development, and the good strategy that me as a aviation management student, I'm observing that Qatar Airways is having in place, and indeed a remarkable management when it comes to the crisis, the COVID crisis. They have showed worldwide results, which all the experts out there in the aviation industry are basically keeping their head down. So well done, Qatar Airways. Now we go to the Qatar Executive, which is a vacancy that has been currently or is currently active on the Qatar Airways website under the career part. And in a link below this video in the description box, I'm going to leave the link of the vacancy where you can apply. A very, very important thing to make the difference between Qatar Airways commercial cabin crew and Qatar Executive cabin crew. The first and very important difference is that these cabin crew are wearing absolutely different uniform. Unlike Qatar commercial cabin crew, they used to have the gray one. Now it's kind of dark blue, and it looks exactly like this. Now, if we open the internet, if we research a little bit, we will see that Qatar Executive is actually one of the subsidiary companies under Qatar Airways, and today Qatar Airways has around 12 other businesses which are working together within the organizations. That is why Qatar Airways is called a corporation, basically. So in this, having this said, the company is formed in the year 2009, on the year when I joined Qatar Airways, and it has been launched at the Paris Air Show. The fleet of this airline are aircrafts, which are Bombardier, which are Gulfstream aircrafts, different types of these aircrafts, and their total number of aircrafts is currently 19. But they have ordered, as you may see on the internet, they have ordered another 28. So it is very interesting fact when we look at the number of aircrafts that have been ordered. And this, I will connect this to the manpower planning system, which is an important aspect that if you're a candidate or if you want to learn about the aviation, you actually go into these numbers to a little bit get an understanding of why the recruitments are happening at the moment within Qatar Executive. So we are clearly over here seeing that they have ordered 28 aircrafts, and if they order 28 aircrafts, they will also be needing cabin crew. And that is why this vacancy has been published on the internet. And the manpower planning system, when new aircrafts are coming into the fleet, means that new staff is needed, and this cabin crew working with Qatar Executive will be flying with the fleet being broadened or widened up. When it comes to the experience, they are also over here hiring experienced cabin crew. Qatar Executive does not hire freshers, and they are asking for minimum of 5 years of flying experience in a reputable international airline in a supervisory or leadership position. So I do believe that over here, everyone who flew for a low-cost airline also will be having chances if he or she was a supervisor, because according to my knowledge and my understanding, Ryanair is absolutely a reputable airline. Wizz Air is absolutely a reputable airline. They're low-cost airlines, but they are flying internationally. And one very important aspect over here, none of the qualifications are saying that the candidates cannot fly for a low-cost airline. So everyone who has the experience is more than welcome to apply. And also they are considering 2 or 3 years of VIP corporate airline experience that can be taken as an advantage. The other qualifications, you will see them in their vacancy. I've also elaborated these 2 vacancies, this one and the one related to cabin attendant private fleet, which is also something totally different than the commercial flight attendant, in a separate video, and also a link from that video will be in the description box below. We have mentioned that this cabin crew are wearing different uniform. They are flying with different aircrafts than the cabin crew commercial cabin crew for Qatar Airways, which we know that they fly Airbus and Boeing aircrafts. We will come to that part a bit later, but over here the private jet, as you may see in the video, the interior looks a bit different. Last but not the least, what is also different is the passenger profile. From what I know and what I have, I wouldn't say heard, but during our training, trainers very often were sharing their experience when it comes to Qatar Executive, and we have been informed that customers of Qatar Executive are people or individuals or celebrities such as Shakira, such as Mariah Carey. So people who are basically being in a need to be alone in the aircraft, and they do not want basically to be around with other people. As we know, the capacity for this aircrafts, the Bombardier, the Gulfstream that I have mentioned, are quite limited, and there is only one cabin crew for these passengers. So again, a very private airline, and it's basically what I would like to use, the word that I would like to use is an on-demand service, which means people who can't afford will rent the aircraft and will fly from point A to point B privately, being served by that one person who's, once the flight is over, will never share the experience. How was it to serve Mariah Carey, or how was it to serve Shakira? Because you're actually going into the, you're breaking the discretion part, which is included into the contract. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand that these standards or these qualifications that the airlines have imposed, or in this case, Qatar Airways has set them on their website, are something that is come out from the necessity of what we do, or what we as a cabin crew will be performing on board the aircraft. You have to understand that, because it's nothing personal. It's not that they don't like the freshers. Yes, everyone would love to have freshers. The airlines would love to have freshers. Yet when it comes to serving people who are paying a large amount of money, there's absolutely no room for mistake over here. And this is why it is important for the airlines that they are having candidates who are experienced and who can be very easily trained and start flying in the corporate world of Qatar Executive. Now we come to the third vacancy, which is also available on the, still it's active on the career page. I'm going to leave again link from that vacancy in the description box. I have also, as I have mentioned, made a video about these 2 vacancies and how to apply online. This vacancy is related to, it's called actually cabin attendant, in brackets private fleet, and it's related to Qatar Executive. So what I know about this department, this is also part of Qatar Airways, just like Qatar Executive. It's a subsidiary company, the Qatar Executive company that we spoke about. However, this cabin crew, according to my knowledge, my understanding, and I know some people who are, some crew actually who were flying for this fleet are actually cabin crew, and they are wearing the same uniform as Qatar Airways cabin crew. They're flying aircrafts such as Airbus 319, aircrafts like Airbus 320 and 340 aircrafts. And on this aircraft, which I believe I have not seen the interior of this aircraft, but I have been informed that they're being retrofitted and they look like a business class aircrafts, and only VVIP customers are flying on this flight. One Airbus 319, one Airbus 320 and one Airbus 340 can be taken to fly when more people will lease this aircraft to fly for, if I may say. So if I give in a pragmatic example, it would be Shakira books Qatar Executive, she'll get the Gulfstream or the Bombardier, which is Qatar Executive. But let's say 10 ministers supposed to fly from Qatar and they will go to France for a conference. They would go with the private fleet of Qatar Executive, but with an aircraft that is Airbus 390 and 19, Airbus 320 or Airbus 340 if there are more people. Also, this not necessarily has to be the Qatar Airways government people, but it can be, let's say, the government of Mozambique, if they do not have. This is just an example that I have shared. If they need an aircraft who's going to take their government, basically, what I'm trying to say over here is that the Airbus 319, the Airbus 320, and Airbus 340 are aircrafts that can be that can take more passengers, and it's definitely the cost share among this people who would be flying these aircrafts for whatever purposes is going to be a little different than hiring an aircraft for yourself in terms of privacy. And in these aircrafts, in the aircrafts 319, 320 and 340, these are the IATA standards, and therefore they're must amplifying everywhere, but I'm gonna come to that point at the end of this video. There are more crew flying. I do believe that they're also flying with the maximum amount of crew for the cabin crew in 319 and 320. Those will be 5, 6, 7 cabin crew. For 340 aircraft will be 14, 15, depends on the range of the aircraft. Definitely, we're looking at a set of crew who would have supervisor, who's going to have their designated cabin crew. And I don't think that over here there are positions of cabin crew in economy and cabin crew in business class. These cabin crew are all business class or first class, as it's mentioned in the vacancy that very, very important people are flying this aircraft. I have mentioned that the cabin crew flying for Qatar Executive, which is the private fleet, are wearing the same Qatar Airways uniform as the cabin crew. So to summarize, we have over here the Qatar Amiri, which are wearing totally different uniform than everyone, and my knowledge, what I have seen, is dark blue. Kinda to me reminds me of Lufthansa uniform, if I may say. Then we have the Qatar Executive, which is a subsidiary company of Qatar Airways with the private jet aircrafts for one cabin crew required in there, which looks like this, and they are having the following uniform. It's very glamorous uniform, and in fact, I don't know if I have ever shared with you, but I have one batchmate she's from Romania, and she's flying for Qatar Executive. She's wearing this uniform. We have had crew resource management trainings together, but we came to Qatar together in the year 2019. If I may say something about her, she's one of the most smartest and brightest people I have ever met. Her background is a face on the TV. She was a front face or actually a news presenter in Romania. She's very beautiful, very knowledgeable at the same time when it comes to flying and when it comes to her general knowledge. And I do not wonder for a moment why she has been taken to fly for Qatar Executive. And in fact, a small detail that I'm going to share about her is that she became cabin senior without flying experience in Qatar Airways, with only 3 years of flying, due to her excellent performance. And how to have a fast career growth in Qatar Airways is a video that I have elaborated on my YouTube channel. I have shared that video. It looks like this. I'm going to leave a link of that video in the description box. And my Romanian batchmate is not the only person who has progressed within 3 years of flying in first and business class into the supervisory position. That was also my flatmate from Portugal, and her name is Nadia. For those of you that are following me on excrewnextcrew, if you have seen some of the comments from her, that's my flatmate. She was also promoted within 3 years thanks to her excellent performance. And what are the parameters to have excellent performance? Again, I have shared that in a YouTube video, but basically to summarize, those are reporting on time for your flight, having amazing customer compliments, not complaints. You have to stay away from complaints. You have to have positive feedback from the customers that you have done outstanding service. And that doesn't mean that the passenger should write that, you know, Juliana was very nice cabin crew and she did a wonderful service, but to actually explain what makes the cabin crew outstanding, to be a bit more subjective. And this is what actually they were doing on their flight. Last but not least, the in-flight assessments, because once you become a cabin crew, your studying process does not finish. It's an ongoing process. I've shared with you a small secret, yet how to have a fast career progress in Qatar Airways is a video that I have made. Have a look, and you will find all those secrets that if you work on them, you can also progress in your career even before, even without that previous flying experience. Going back to the topic of the 3 different vacancies, Amiri, executive, and the private fleet, the flight attendant. So we said Amiri has a different uniform, Qatar Executive has a different uniform. However, the cabin attendant, the private fleet, they're having the same uniform as Qatar Airways. However, what is similar to, or what is identical to these 3 types of vacancies or 3 types of cabin crew is that they are constantly on standby, 3 of them. Or they would get a notification that, let's say, a flight is planned for tomorrow, but they're not getting monthly rosters. Therefore, I wouldn't say that is a plus or a minus, because at certain time it can be a plus point, at other times it can be a minus point, because you simply won't be able to plan your time. However, the experience that this crew or this group of cabin crew have is something that gives them the freedom to be good fitting in this job. Another important thing which is same to these 3 category of cabin crew is that they all must follow the EASA and the IATA standards. There are no exceptions when it comes to flight limitations, acclimatizations, how long they can fly, how much they should have the dedicated rest, etc., etc. So in these 3 categories, the standards which are related to the worldwide standards are something that the airline, Qatar Airways, and the subsidiaries of the airline are working hand in hand, and they must be simply implemented. Therefore, this would be the 3 differences between these 3 vacancies. And to end this video, we still have not seen, as of now, as I'm filming this video, we still have not seen vacancies related to the cabin crew, to the commercial cabin crew, in which we are all hoping that freshers are going to be having equal chances as the experienced cabin crew. And again, in many of my posts, I am saying this, but I want to again emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are freshers, sitting behind your telephone or beside your laptop, and being very keen on knowing whether airlines are recruiting freshers. Time is running. You still have time, and this time is supposed to be used effectively, because the airlines will want to know what you have done during this pandemic crisis. You were sitting and waiting to be recruited? No, ladies and gentlemen, if you were sitting and waiting to be recruited, and if you have not been working on your skills, straightening the current one and developing new ones, you're not going to be selected, because we have to be realistic. Skills are not something that you develop by not being engaged when you're interacting with customers, when you are working, and when you are challenged. Because if we sit at home and we're not challenged, we're not working, we're not straightening, we're not developing new skills, that's not going to be a parameter that is going to show you as an outstanding candidate. I have been very honest when I'm sharing this. Often you're asking me how you can fulfill the gaps. You have, being engaged into coaching classes, you have been studying another language, but that cannot last for 1.5 years. You were not into coaching classes 1.5 years, unless you were doing your master degree or you were doing your bachelor degree. Then this is very understandable, and this is exactly a time where you are straightening and developing new skills, because I wouldn't say it's a legal process, because coaching is also a legal process. However, it cannot last for 1.5 years, taking coaching classes to get a job, to be honest. However, do not forget that courses like the IATA courses like emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence are something that are very much appreciated in the aviation industry, in particularly in the cabin crew role. And very soon you are going to be seeing a full list of videos on my YouTube channel in which I'm going to be preparing topics to help you to become more emotionally intelligent, to help you to become more culturally intelligent. I'm trained for emotional intelligence and for cultural intelligence within Qatar Airways. And out of my 10 years of flying experience within Qatar Airways, I have 5 years in my leadership role, or I have been 5 years in the leadership role. So definitely I know a lot when it comes to the emotional intelligence, the cultural intelligence, and I'm going to be sharing it very shortly. You might want to be subscribed on my YouTube channel over here. Like, comment, and share this video, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. I have a lot to say, yet this video is already very long, and for those of you that came to the end, thank you very much. Bye bye, and have a nice day.